that you might ask, like, let's say, like a big department like NYPD, and you might ask, well, why don't officers snitch on each other? Why don't they tell when they see officers, you know, shaking people down, planting drugs, you know, stealing, doing whatever? It's because motherfuckers get killed in certain departments.
Yeah.
Like, officers will get killed. You will get killed, you will get ostracized, I mean, there's consequences for trying to do good in certain departments. We don't deal with some of the stuff that y'all see in other departments here in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference.
You gotta look at
It's a big difference.
I know black folks. Y'all do something like that.
It's just that Paul Howard will indict your ass, and everybody knows it. He will indict your ass.
So the one thing about it was when I was in Vice during the Neal Street shooting. Okay, and I knew those guys. Vice.
No.
Neal Street, when McCaffrey Johnson got shot by the officers.
You weren't here. Okay. Oh, you here. But I was there. Okay, I was, when the feds came in, our area was close to them, and when they come in and grabbing everything. They taking up every piece of documents, and so one of the feds was coming over in our area. I was like, look, we ain't got nothing to do with that. Y'all stay over there. But I knew the three guys. I knew all three of them. And it was shocking that happened. Because my thing is, damn, it's a lot of dope being sold. You ain't got to kick in nobody dope. You ain't got to go out here and plant no dope on nobody. There's plenty of dope out here that you can get it honestly. But I don't know what, but there was a lot of other people. See, a lot of things, a ripple effect happened. Some supervisors went to jail after that. Some supervisors lost their jobs. So that changed the whole. So you see three. You saw three get indicted. But there was a ripple effect that went behind it. Some other officers lost their jobs. Because not only they looked at that, when they looked at that, they went back and started looking at all the cases. So don't think because this case happened, they ain't going back and look at all the cases. So anybody said anything about, hey, you put something on me, they went and looked at all that. A lot of people got out because of that. So
that's kind of how like what happened with me. The officer had a long line of doing stuff and they found it.
It's a track record.
And so a lot of stuff.
That's why if he go complain and say such and such did this, he don't know if he's done that to the other people he got into it with in high school. And now it's not just your statement alone, but then if you don't say nothing, it didn't happen.
So what about the racism? Because see, I went to school with a dude that's a sheriff now. Me and my homeboys, we got into a little fight, a little situation, and he contacted me on Facebook, and he was like, I want to know like where your family at, you know what I'm saying? If anything going on with them, you know, I'll look after them. I'm like, I'm not about to tell you where my family at, you know what I'm saying? But I went and read some of his posts on his page, and everything he was talking about was racist. He was talking about Trayvon Martin, and that's what he did, and this and that.
That's when you screenshot it and you go contact him. If you feel that's a problem,
well, he don't live here.
I'm just where he working.
No matter where he is.
Computers.
Do you feel that he's fit to be a cop wherever he is?
No
further questions.
But I'm saying most of the officers in some of these counties are racist.
I wouldn't
So,
go ahead.
You went into a racist office shit.
Judges too.
You know, y'all got that police code.
We
know.
Especially the judge.
That's a job thing we do. We know.
One more time. Skip me one more time here. Somebody go to jail, guys.
Listen. It comes down to you having to put down another officer. Would you be able to do it?
I have.
You have?
Yes. I work investigation. When you come to investigation, some guys, when you dig deep off into it, some guys that's your homeboy, their friend is a cop and they decide they want to be dirty, you gotta go. I don't want you around me.
Right.
Why? Because then you can get me caught up. When you see us together, you say, oh, he messed with him too. That's his homeboy.
So did you feel like there was any backlash towards you for doing that?
Not at all.
No?
I got investigated to you for it. I did my job.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Like I told you earlier, when I speak for myself.
Yeah.
But everybody's different. I'm confident enough to speak on something like that because guess what? I couldn't do my job in reference to the case the right way without getting what he had already messed up. And when you start interviewing people and you find a crooked cop or a dirty cop, that you got to stop and bring in the feds, like you said, and the feds gonna come scoop all
Oh,
of
they
them.
gonna scoop it up.
Period.
Okay, no, I don't want him to go. You gotta go. So now,
Somebody gonna get arrested.
Somebody about to go to jail. Come on.
Come on, don't say that now. Let me get my. All right. This is what I want to ask. Has any of you officers in this room had a partner that worked with you, received was fatally wounded or shot in the line of duty or something bad happened to it? And I want to know, did you experience any trauma from that, and how do you deal with it?
I was on the team that responded to Mark Cross, the Red Dog officer that was shot and killed in the line of duty.
Oh man.
When I got there, the bullet was in his head. He was laying on the ground. Ambulance hadn't gotten there yet. Ambulance got there. We loaded him up on the ambulance. I always tell people for me in this job, everything is later on. Like, you feel the emotion later on. Initially, you just want to do whatever it is that you can do to help. I wanted to do whatever I could to help him. Got him up on the ambulance. Later on that day, when we all got together waiting at the hospital, then the emotion started to hit all of us. But it's a tough thing. That's somebody I had. An hour prior to that, the Falcons had just drafted Roddy White. Mm-hmm. They had already signed Peerless Price, and we was laughing at him because they had drafted another receiver, Roddy White.
Yeah.
We had just did that an hour before he was shot. So I'm a human being, man. It's a friend of mine who had just got killed in the line of duty. So it's tough. But the emotions didn't come until later.
So now,
But how did you do it though?
so now going forward, does that affect the way you approach situations?
Well, I mean,
Since
it
you
did.
witnessed.
It didn't for me. I wasn't part of the shooting. I got there after the fact. Now, there was two other guys with him, and talking to them, and it affected them a little bit different. They approached the car, the guys just start firing rounds, hit one of them in the cheek and the other one in the head. So it affected them differently than it did me. I never actually been on a scene where somebody was shooting at the time.
And I say that because growing up in my community where I come from, I'm from Oakland, California. And so I've witnessed a lot of violence, a lot of atrocities. I've carried some of my friends to their mother's home after they were shot. And I'm also a person here who I lost my father to the LAPD. And they held his body for 12 days without contacting anybody in my family or anything like that. And so from my span of life, from my time and my experiences, is like, I've experienced so much trauma and traumatic things, sometimes it's almost numb to me. And so if I encounter a police officer and the situation go left, it's kind of like expected. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well,
That's just the norm.
yeah, well, he on the bullshit today. I know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really trying to make it home.
Right. Like everybody.
I'm really trying to make it home because I know that this encounter could be fatal. So, so I just wondered, because now, when I if I'm in the car and I'm like, there go the police, I'm not like shook up, crazy, but in my mind I'm still feeling like, if I encounter a police officer, I know this could be my last conversation. And I'm also a father. And I know that, I have to prepare my son for the world that views him in a certain light. I know that. And so the situation happened with my dad, that was just 2.5 years ago. And so I grew up in a community where, certain things happen. It just go down. So I was just wondering, how does that affect the psyche of a person who has to go out into the field every day?
Well, I'll add a little bit to that in as much as if you get that officer that goes through a situation, a shooting, where they had to fight somebody or chase somebody, sure, the next time he has to deal with that, he's going to approach it differently. Mm-hmm. So now you may get that cop that has his hand on his gun. Now he may not take it out, but because he remembers the last time I came up on a traffic stop, dude pulled a gun. So this time, shit, they're not gonna catch me slipping. I'm gonna have my hand on the gun. So of course, you the civilian in the car is like, damn, why you got your hand on your gun? I ain't did nothing. Again, and I heard Ty say it plenty of times, y'all don't know anything about us and what we've gone through, and we don't know anything about what you guys have experienced and gone through. So I think it does change the mindset of the officers, of some officers, in how they approach certain situations based on some type of situation or experience that they've encountered. Now, does it always make it right? I don't know. Every situation is different. But I can see how the next time the guys who were with Mark when he was killed, who were right there with him, the next time, hell, they might go up and have their gun in their hand. Because they know the last time they went up, dude pulled a gun and shot. You know how quick it is before you can even really blink your eye for somebody to just do this right here. It was just I'm gonna get you in a second. It was just I think it was in California a few days ago. The guy that shot the female officer point blank. I mean, it was just that.
She knew who he was too. She was talking.
It was just that quick. He just reached up, boom, shot her twice.
Killed her?
No. But that's how quick it happened. So it's not an excuse for everything, but to your question, the mindset of officers are probably just as much rambling and going around as yours because of your experiences. So I just wanted to add.
Trying to protect y'all lives.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, you know, a little tidbit.
So my question is, what do you do as a civilian if an officer is clearly violating you, like he's here for blood? You know what I'm saying? What do you do? Because I can't kill him or I can't do something to him. So what do I do if he's clearly out of order?
I always ask people as a supervisor, or I always tell people, call a supervisor, ask for a supervisor to come out there on the scene. Really, all that you can do is.
Because I probably ain't gonna be able to call for no supervisor.
But I'm saying.
But
what I'm saying is, but see, we get. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but you can't always think that every situation is gonna go bad.
Right.
Every situation is gonna get to a point where you're not able to get.